Every single person you admire today once stood exactly where you stand now, confused, uncertain, doubting their potential. The only difference between you and the people at the top is not luck, not talent, not resources, it's mindset. Winners think differently. Winners understand that real success is not built in a week, a month, or even a year. It is built over time through deliberate, consistent choices. They don't chase shortcuts, trends, or quick fixes because they know anything gained too easily is lost just as fast. Instead, they build their life like a solid foundation, brick by brick, habit by habit, day by day. A winner looks beyond the moment. While others are distracted by temporary pleasure, winners stay focused on their long-term vision. They willingly sacrifice comfort today because they are driven by the future they see in their mind. When people around them choose entertainment, winners choose improvement. When others waste time, winners protect their time. Their strength doesn't come from being superhuman. It comes from seeing life in a bigger picture. They know that delayed gratification is a superpower. They may not see results immediately, but they trust the process. They understand that seeds take time to grow and greatness takes time to build. Instead of worrying about where they are right now, they focus on where they're going. Winners also make decisions strategically. They ask themselves, will this help my future? Will this move me closer to my goals? Will this matter 5 years from now? If the answer is no, they walk away. Their future self guides their present actions, and that is why their progress compounds over time. Thinking long-term gives them patience in struggles, stability in chaos, and persistence when others quit. It stops them from being derailed by temporary emotions and keeps them committed to their larger mission. While most people want results instantly, winners want results permanently, and that's why they rise above everyone else. The winners understand that responsibility is the foundation of power. They know that the moment they blame someone else for their situation, they hand over control of their life. So they refuse to point fingers, make excuses, or hide behind circumstances. Instead, they look directly at their results, good or bad, and say, this is on me. That simple mind separates them from the average person. A winner doesn't waste time complaining about the past because they know complaining changes nothing. They don't wait for rescue, luck, or someone to fix things for them. They step up and fix it themselves. They understand that every choice they made has shaped their current reality, and every choice they make now will shape their future. Taking responsibility also gives them clarity. When things go wrong, they don't collapse emotionally. Instead, they ask, what can I do better? What can I change? What lesson is hidden here? This mindset protects them from helplessness and empowers them to rise stronger after setbacks. Winners accept that life is not always fair, but they also know that fairness is irrelevant. What matters is their reaction, their decisions, and their willingness to take control of what they can control. And because they take responsibility, they naturally become more disciplined and more resilient and more focused. They become leaders of their own lives, not victims of their circumstances. Winners understand that motivation is unreliable. It comes and goes like the weather. Some days you wake up inspired, other days you feel nothing. That's why winners do not depend on motivation to take action. They rely on discipline, a steady inner commitment that pushes them forward even when they are tired, unmotivated, or overwhelmed. A winner knows that if they wait for motivation, they will remain stuck in the same place for years. So they create routines, habits, and systems that force progress regardless of how they feel. They show up on the days when it's hard, and that consistency becomes their competitive edge. While others wait for the right mood, winners create the right behavior. Discipline turns chaos into order. It builds self-control, strengthens mental toughness, and eliminates the excuses that hold people back. Successful people aren't disciplined because they're naturally strong. They're disciplined because they understand that emotions cannot be trusted. They choose what needs to be done, not what feels good in the moment. Winners also understand the long-term value of discipline. They know that repeated small efforts compound into massive results. They know that a disciplined lifestyle creates freedom, freedom of time, freedom of mind, freedom of opportunity. They realize that every day they stick to their commitments. They are building a stronger version of themselves. And most importantly, winners understand that discipline is a form of self-respect. When they keep their promises to themselves, wake up on time, train when they don't feel like it, study when they're tired, they build confidence and internal power. They become someone they can rely on. Someone who does what they say they'll do. Someone unshakable. Winners have a completely different relationship with failure compared to the average person. Where most people see failure as a dead end, a reason to quit, or a confirmation that they are not good enough, winners see it as valuable information. They understand that failure isn't a sign of weakness. It's a sign of progress. It means they are trying, growing, stretching, and stepping outside their comfort zone. A winner does not fall apart when something doesn't go as planned. Instead, they pause, analyze, and learn. They ask themselves, what went wrong? What can I adjust? What lesson is hidden inside this? They treat every setback like a teacher, every mistake like a message, and every obstacle like an opportunity to refine their strategy. This mindset keeps them from getting emotionally destroyed by challenges. Instead of saying, I failed, they say, I discovered what doesn't work. That shift alone gives them the power to stand up again and again when others stay down. Winners know that every successful person has a trail of failures behind them, failures that sharpen their skills and built their wisdom. They also understand that failure is unavoidable on the path to greatness. You cannot grow without discomfort. You cannot master anything without messing up. You cannot reach the top without experiencing setbacks. Test your determination. Winners embrace this reality. They don't hide from challenges. They walk straight into them because they know the reward is always on the other side of discomfort. When a winner fails, they don't make excuses, they make improvements. They don't blame the world, they upgrade themselves. Every failure becomes a stepping stone, every setback becomes a lesson, and every difficulty becomes fuel. And because they consistently extract strength from their failures, they rise stronger each time, becoming wiser, sharper, and more unstoppable. Winners know that the most powerful conversations they will ever have are the ones they have with themselves. They understand that the mind can be their greatest ally or their most destructive enemy. So instead of letting negative thoughts run wild, winners train their inner voice to strengthen, guide, and uplift them. They know that if their self-talk is weak, their performance will be weak. If their inner dialogue is strong, their actions will be strong. Most people allow their minds to sabotage them. They hear thoughts like, you can't do this, you're not good enough, what if you fail? And they believe them. Winners refuse to accept this. They challenge every negative voice. They replace fear with possibility, doubt with confidence, and hesitation with purpose. Their inner voice becomes a coach, not a critic. Winners understand that confidence is built internally long before it shows externally. They speak to themselves with clarity, authority, and certainty. They use affirmations, visualization, and positive reinforcement as tools to reshape their mindset. They know that the words they repeat to themselves become beliefs, and their beliefs become actions. Controlling self-talk also gives winners emotional stability. when pressure rises, when mistakes happen, when the world doubts them. Their internal voice keeps them centered. It reminds them of their capability, their strength, and their mission. Their self-talk acts like a shield against negativity noise from the outside world. Winners don't deny their weaknesses, but they focus on their strengths. They don't pretend challenges don't exist, but they remind themselves that they are capable of overcoming them. They use their thoughts strategically. They turn stress into focus, fear into preparation, and uncertainty into determination. This mastery of inner dialogue becomes one of their greatest superpowers. Because once they control their mind, nothing outside can control their life. Winners understand that energy is one of the most valuable resources they possess, more valuable than time, money, or talent, because without energy, even the best plans collapse. That's why winners are extremely selective about what they give their attention to, who they allow in their life, and what they mentally entertain. They know that the wrong environment can drain ambition faster than anything else. So they guard their mental, emotional, and physical energy with intention. They avoid negativity the same way they avoid poison. Whether it's toxic people, draining conversations, unnecessary drama, or environments that pull them down, winners create distance without hesitation. Not because they're arrogant, but because they understand that their focus and progress depend on protecting their emotional space. They choose to let small minds shrink their vision. Winners also protect their energy by managing their habits. They don't waste hours scrolling, gossiping, or complaining. They don't allow distractions to hijack their day. Instead, they prioritize rest, clarity, and activities that fuel them. They choose routines that recharge their spirit, exercise, reading, learning, moments of silence, meaningful work. They understand that high performance requires high quality energy, not burnout. Another powerful thing winners do is set boundaries. They learn to say no without guilt. They know that at every to something meaningless is a no to their purpose. They are intentional about the people they surround themselves with, choosing those who inspire, uplift, challenge, and support their growth. Winners don't allow anyone to interrupt their momentum or drain their positivity. And mentally, winners are extremely disciplined. They don't let their thoughts spiral into overthinking, fear, or chaos. They maintain peace by choosing what deserves their emotional investment. They don't react to every situation. They respond only to what matters. By protecting their energy, winners stay clear-headed, motivated, and focused. Their mind stays sharp, their heart stays strong, and their purpose stays alive. This one habit alone allows them to move faster, think better, and remain unstoppable in a world full of distractions and negativity. Winners know that vague intentions produce vague results, so they never move through life without direction. They understand that clarity is power. When you know exactly what you want, why you want it, and how you intend to get it, you become unstoppable. That's why winners take the time to define their goals with precision. They don't just say, I want success, or I want to improve. They break their vision into detailed, measurable, and achievable steps that guide their daily actions. They treat their goals like a map. Without a map, anyone can get lost, wasting time, energy, and focus. But with clear goals, winners know exactly where they are headed, which choices matter, and which distractions they can eliminate. Every task has a purpose, every action has direction, and every day becomes an intentional step toward the bigger picture. Winners also write their goals down because they understand that writing creates commitment. When a goal leaves their mind and becomes a written plan, it becomes real. They revisit their goals consistently, adjusting them as they grow, refine their strategies, and learn new lessons. They don't set goals once. They set, track, evaluate, and upgrade them. They divide big dreams into smaller milestones. They know that huge goals can look intimidating, but breaking them into daily or weekly tasks makes progress manageable. With every milestone achieved, their confidence grows, and that confidence fuels the next step and the next. Winners also set goals that are emotionally meaningful. They don't chase goals just because society expects them to. They choose goals genuinely matter to their future, their identity, and their purpose. Emotional connection creates long-lasting motivation. When things get tough, when obstacles appear, when doubt creeps in, the emotional reason behind the goal keeps them moving. They constantly visualize their goals. In their mind, they already see the victory before it happens in reality. This visualization strengthens their belief and aligns their actions with desired outcome. Winners act with intention because everything they do is tied to a bigger mission. Setting clear, specific goals separates winners from those who drift aimlessly. It gives them direction, power, and purpose. It makes their journey structured and their progress predictable. And most importantly, it transforms their dreams into plans and their plans into achievements. Winners understand that consistency is the bridge between goals and achievements. They know that success is not the result of one big effort, one lucky break, or one perfect moment. It is the result of showing up every single day, even when the excitement fades and the journey becomes difficult. Consistency is what shapes character, builds habits, and creates long-lasting transformation. Most people start strong but fade quickly. They get excited for a week, motivated for a month, and then they stop when results don't come fast enough. Winners do the exact opposite. They stay committed long after the motivation disappears. They realize that the real progress happens quietly behind the scenes when no one is watching. Every small step repeated consistently becomes a powerful force over time. Winners do not chase perfection. They chase repetition. They know that even imperfect effort, when consistent, creates momentum. They don't punish themselves for bad days. They simply get back on track the next day. They understand that discipline isn't about never failing. It's about never staying down after failure. Their consistency is built on resilience, not perfection. They also design systems that help them stay consistent. They create routines that align with their goals, habits that strengthen their mindset, and schedules that keep them accountable. They remove unnecessary distractions and structure their environment to support their ambitions. Winners know that consistency becomes easier when your life is organized around your purpose. Another powerful thing about winner is that they measure progress over months and years, not hours and days. They understand that great things take time, so they stay patient with the process and trust the invisible growth happening beneath the surface. While others get discouraged by slow results, winners know that every single day of consistent effort is building something meaningful. Consistency also builds identity. When someone consistently shows up, they start to trust themselves. They develop confidence because they see proof of their own discipline. Over time, they become the type of person who doesn't quit easily, who doesn't make excuses, who doesn't run from discomfort. That mindset becomes a superpower that multiplies every result. Winners stay consistent because they know the truth. You don't need to be extraordinary every day. You just need to be committed every day. And that commitment, that steady forward movement, is what eventually separates the unstoppable from the average. Winners understand that emotions are powerful, but they also know that emotions can be dangerous when they are not controlled. They recognize that success requires a calm, clear, and disciplined mind, especially when life becomes chaotic. While most people react impulsively out of anger, fear, frustration, envy, or insecurity, winners slow down, breathe, and respond with intention. They don't allow temporary emotions to destroy long-term goals. A winner's strength comes from emotional stability. They know that emotions can cloud judgment, distort reality, and lead to decisions they'll later regret. So instead of acting on impulse, they analyze situations from a logical and strategic viewpoint. They ask themselves, what is the smartest move here? What outcome do I want? What reaction will help me, not hurt me? This self-awareness gives them control in moments where others lose themselves. Winners also understand that not every battle deserves a reaction. They don't waste emotional energy on petty arguments, negativity, or unnecessary conflict. They recognize that the world is full of people trying to provoke, distract, or drain them. And they refuse to play those games. Their peace is more valuable than proving a point. Their mission is more important than reacting to every minor irritation. They also manage stress effectively. Instead of letting pressure break them, winners use it to sharpen their focus. They understand that stress is part of growth, so they remain calm during setbacks and composed during challenges. This emotional discipline gives them an advantage, while others panic or quit. Winners adapt and keep moving. Winners don't suppress emotions, they master them. They allow themselves to feel disappointment, fear, or frustration, but they do not let those emotions dictate their actions. They process their feelings, understand them, and then choose rational behavior. They use emotions as signals, not commands. One of the greatest skills winners develop is the ability to remain emotionally strong when things go wrong. Whether they face failure, betrayal, criticism, or obstacles, they maintain inner stability. They don't crumble under pressure. They become sharper, wiser, and more resilient. Winners know that success is not an accident. It is a pattern, a science, a collection of behaviors and principles that can be learned, practiced, and mastered. That's why they make learning a lifelong priority. While average people believe they already know enough, winners remain students forever. They observe, analyze, and absorb knowledge from every source available: books, mentors, failures, documentaries, conversations, experiences, and even their competitors. Winners study success with the same seriousness that others watch entertainment. They treat self-education as a daily habit, not a one-time activity. They understand that every piece of wisdom they learn sharpens their mind, strengthens their character, and improves their decision-making. Their hunger for knowledge keeps them evolving, adapting, and staying ahead of the curve. They don't just learn, they apply. Winners take the insights they gather and turn them into action. They test strategies, try new approaches, and refine their skills. They're not scared to experiment because they know improvement requires trial and error. They learn from the top performers in their field, examine what makes them great, and then incorporate those qualities into their own life. Another powerful thing winners do is study their own behavior. They reflect on their strengths, weaknesses, thought patterns, habits, and emotional responses. They understand that self-awareness is a form of intelligence. By knowing themselves deeply, they can predict mistakes before they happen and correct them quick when they do. Winners are also humble learners. They don't pretend to know everything, and they'll feel threatened by people who know more. Instead, they surround themselves with those who inspire them, challenge them, and elevate their vision. They ask questions, seek guidance, and stay open to new ideas. Their ego never gets in the way of their growth. Most importantly, winners study success because they understand this truth: you cannot rise higher than the level of your mindset. So they keep feeding their mind with knowledge that shapes them into stronger, wiser, more capable individuals. They know that every lesson they learn brings them one step closer to the future they are building. And through continuous learning, they ensure that they never stay the same. They keep improving, evolving, and moving toward greatness. Winners understand a fundamental truth: comfort is the enemy of growth. They know that nothing extraordinary is ever created inside the limits of what feels easy, safe, or familiar. While most people cling to comfort because it feels secure, winners break away from it because they know comfort traps them in the same life. The same same results and the same average outcomes. A winner intentionally steps into discomfort because they understand that every challenge is shaping them into a stronger, wiser, more resilient version of themselves. They willingly choose hard tasks, difficult decisions, and unfamiliar environments because they know that these are the places where real transformation happens. Growth never comes from doing what you already know. You grow by doing what stretches you. They embrace struggle instead of avoiding it. When something feels scary or uncomfortable, they see it as a sign that they're moving in the right direction. Winners remind themselves that fear often appears right before a breakthrough. They don't run from that feeling, they move toward it with confidence. Winners also understand that comfort creates stagnation. People who avoid discomfort stay stuck in routines, limited by fears, controlled by excuses, and trapped by their own doubts. Winners refuse to accept that fate. They challenge themselves constantly, physically, mentally, emotionally, and professionally. They train harder, think deeper, take risks, and put themselves in situations, force them to grow. They also use discomfort as a tool to build mental toughness. When they face pressure, they don't fold, they adapt. They understand that you cannot become strong by avoiding difficulty. Strength is built in resistance. Confidence is built by facing what scares you. Resilience is built by refusing to quit when things become painful. Winners know that stepping outside their comfort zone is not a one-time act, it's a lifestyle. Every day they push themselves just a little more. One extra hour, one extra step, one extra skill, one extra improvement. Over time, these small pushes turn into massive growth that separates them from the crowd. They also understand that comfort is seductive. It whispers, "You've done enough. Take a break. Stay safe. Don't push further." Winners silence that voice. They understand that comfort may feel good in the moment, but it destroys potential in the long run. By continuously choosing discomfort, winners become adaptable, fearless, and unstoppable. They expand their limits again and again until what once scared them becomes normal. And then they push again. This is why winners rise while others remain stuck. They grow where others retreat. Winners understand that the people around them shape their mindset, their habits, their standards, and ultimately their future. They know that energy is contagious, ambition is contagious, and so is negativity. That's why they are extremely intentional about who they allow into their circle. They refuse to spend their time with people who drain their motivation, discourage their goals, or pull them back into old habits. Instead, they choose people who inspire growth, challenge them to improve, and push them to maintain high standards. Winners know that environment is more powerful than willpower. Even the strongest person can lose their drive in a negative environment, and even an ordinary person can rise to greatness in a powerful one. So they carefully craft their environment by choosing relationships that align with their mission. They surround themselves with dreamers, doors, fighters, and thinkers, people who remind them of their potential, not their limitations. They are not afraid to outgrow people. Winners understand that growth often requires letting go of relationships that no longer support their journey. They don't hold on to friendships out of guilt, history, or comfort. If someone consistently brings negativity, drama, jealousy, or small-minded thinking into their life, winners distance themselves without hesitation. They protect their mental space because their future depends on it. At the same time, winners actively seek mentors and role models. They recognize that learning from someone who has already achieved what they want saves them years of mistakes and confusion. They observe how successful people think, act, and make decisions. They study their discipline, their habits, their mindset, and by doing so, they accelerate their own progress. Winners also value accountability. They want people around them who will tell them the truth, not what sounds nice. They appreciate those who push them, correct them, and expect more from them. They understand that honest feedback is a gift, not criticism, and that accountability is a sign of respect, not judgment. But winners don't just take, they also give. They bring value to their relationships. They support others, encourage others, and inspire others. They know that uplifting people creates powerful synergy. A strong circle doesn't just help one person rise, it elevates everyone. By surrounding themselves with the right people, winners ensure that their environment strengthens their vision instead of destroying it. Their circle becomes a source of strength, clarity, confidence, and momentum. Winners understand that dreams without action remain dreams. They know that planning, thinking, and preparing are important, but none of it matters unless they take bold, consistent action. While most people hesitate, overthink, or wait for the perfect moment, winners step forward and make things happen. They don't sit around hoping for opportunities. They create opportunities through effort, initiative, and determination. A winner does not fear starting. They don't need everything figured out before they move. They trust that clarity comes through action, experience, and adjustment. They understand that progress begins the moment they take the first step, even if that step feels uncertain, uncomfortable, or imperfect. Winners know that action builds momentum, and momentum builds results. They also understand the difference between being busy and being productive. Winners don't waste time on tasks that look impressive but lead nowhere. They focus on high-impact actions, the ones that push them closer to the goals, strengthen their skills, and create real progress. They work with intention, not random effort. Every action they take has meaning. Winners don't wait for motivation to act. They act and motivation follows. They know that action creates confidence. The more they do, the more they believe in themselves. The more they believe, the more they accomplish. This cycle of action and confidence becomes a powerful engine that keeps them moving forward even during hard times. They also understand that failure is part of taking massive action. Winners don't fear making mistakes. They fear standing still. They know the person who fails 100 times will always be ahead of the person who never tries. Every failure teaches them something. Every setback helps them refine their strategy. This fearless approach allows them to grow faster and achieve more than anyone who hesitates. Winners move with urgency. They don't procrastinate, delay, or make excuses. They understand that time is limited, opportunities are fleeting, and life rewards those who take action, not those who wait. They act now, not later, because later is where dreams go to die. And because winners take purposeful action. They build a reputation for reliability and results. People trust them. Opportunities come to them. Momentum follows them. They rise above the crowd, not because they are the smartest or the most talented, but because they are the ones who move decisively, relentlessly, and fearlessly. And as we come to the close of this message, I want you to take one final truth with you. Winners are not born. They are built. They are built through choices, through habits, through discipline, through resilience, through a mindset that refuses to collapse under pressure. Winners see what others cannot, believe what others doubt, and act when others hesitate. They don't wait for perfect conditions, applause, validation, or opportunity. They create all of it. Every victory begins with one decision, the decision to think like a winner, even before the results show, even before the world notices, even before you feel ready. Your mind is the engine of every breakthrough you will ever experience. Protect it, feed it, strengthen it, because the person who masters their inner world will eventually master their outer world. From this moment forward, walk with the belief that you are capable of rewriting your story. Speak with the confidence of someone who knows their potential is limitless. Act with the determination of someone who refuses to be average. Carry yourself like the winner you are becoming, not tomorrow, not someday, but now. Your life will rise to meet the level of your mindset. So think big, think bold, think fearless. Think like a winner, and your entire world will begin to transform.